Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. And today I wanted to talk to you or tell you about a recent trip to Dallas, actually this past weekend when I'm recording this, and let you know a few ways and tips that that I try to be more productive when traveling, in this real estate business, and just optimizing that time. And then also why the biggest reason why I went to Dallas this weekend, and something that you could use in your business to help connect to investors, or in this case, investors that you already have, and why we were there. And so, to get us started, I want to talk about this, being more productive and thinking ahead when you're traveling to places. Maybe you're traveling to an event. And often when I've traveled to so many conferences, real estate events over the last couple of years, I want to optimize that time. It's not a vacation to me in any way. I'm away from the family. They're back at home. Really getting everything done at the house. While I'm gone, and so I don't feel like it's vacation. It's very just work focused, and that's the way I go into it. So going to these events or going to a conference, a lot of times I will try to go a day earlier than normal, maybe a day and a half earlier, or stay a day later, or I will look up local meetups in the area and try to go to as many meetups as possible, in that local area. And have that planned out. I'll know my routes, and I'll have an assistant, that helps me organize that. That's another show. We've talked about assistants in numerous shows, and I've got other things we're going to talk about how to use virtual assistants in the future as well. But I want to be very organized. I want to optimize that time. And I'm going to go to as many meetups and introduce myself, talk to as many people as possible, obviously, and just connect and keep connecting. And then, the big part of that is following up, obviously, after you get back. But another component to that that I like to do is personally reaching out to other individuals in the business, the other active investors, syndicators that are that live in that area that I'm traveling to, and schedule meetings, schedule times to interact with them and connect. And so they can get to know me and I can get to know them. It's a great time to reach out, because you're going to be in the area. But even more importantly, do you have investors in that area? Do you have investors that are in that local market that you're traveling to? And if you are, then reach out to them and let them know that you're coming. I find, often we don't get much face time with our investors, and it's a problem, and it's difficult though to do. So, we'll travel quite a bit to meet with investors at times, but it's difficult because there may only be one or two, say, in one town. And if there are, then I'll try to go there occasionally. And if I'm going there, especially for a conference or another event, I want to reach out to them or make a point to go early enough to sit down face to face and to speak with them, have coffee or a meal, take them out to dinner, take their family out to dinner. I'd love to get to know them and who they are outside of business, outside of real estate, and then also let them get to know me as well better. And so I enjoy those meetings. I mean, I really do. I enjoy them, getting to know who they are outside of, how we think about investing and multifamily versus other assets, or the returns we're looking for, and under all those things that investors have questions about, of course. But I enjoy getting to know them outside of the business, and I think they enjoy getting to know me as well outside the business, and it's a prime opportunity to do that. So think ahead and plan that out. But even with other operators in the area, find out who's in that area. You can go to Bigger Pockets. You can go to numerous places and find ways to learn who is in that market that you want to connect with, and be very purposeful and schedule times. Find a location where, you can meet at a coffee shop, and maybe there's a restaurant close by, and you can kind of bounce back and forth if you need to, or whatnot, and allowing time to, meet with somebody and then have another meeting pretty quickly after. So it's very common that I'll do that. And so this past weekend, my partner and I, Sam, we traveled to Dallas, and the main reason we were there this weekend is to hold our own personal investor event. Okay, so we closed on 180 units about 3 months ago, just over 3 months, right, 3 months ago, and we want to. We want to get to know these investors the best we can, and their needs, their goals, and making sure we're accomplishing those the best that we can, and allowing them to get to know us as well. And so we had a concentrated group of investors who were in the Dallas area, and so we said, why not have an event there, and allow all of them to get together and hand out like their first distribution. And so that was the biggest reason we were there. Hand out their first distribution, but then also for them to ask questions and us to be able to talk about the market and talk about the property, things that have happened, things good or bad, and talk about how we're moving forward. Talk about everything that we're learning about the market and what we see coming, and things that are happening in the business and how we're growing and moving forward, and how we want them to be a part of it. And so it was received very well. It was just a great time of having a meal together. We actually an investor hosted it as well at his house, and so it was really it went over very well. It was a very good event, and I would encourage you to think about that. Even if you go to a place where you have 3 or 4 investors, well, get them together and so you all can just talk and learn about your business, and they can get to know you at a more personal level. I know that will pay off for you, and I would encourage you to be thinking ahead while you're traveling to maximize that time while you're at an event, or while you're going to this conference. We'll go a day early, and if you have investors there, even if you don't, find other operators, find other people that you can network with, so you can better use that time, and it will definitely pay off. And it just it says a lot to that person, to those people, that you're proactive and that you want to get to know them. It says a lot to them. You've come in early, to meet them. There's a lot of time and expense there to make that happen, especially with investors. They want to know that you want to connect. They want to know that you care about their goals, and that obviously care about their investment, and getting to know them. So I would encourage you to do that. And so another thing we did this weekend while in Dallas, we partnered on about 700 units in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and so it was great to tour those properties. And it's just learning more about this, the Dallas Fort Worth markets, and that are exploding. It's amazing to see what all's happening there. But getting to go in and talk to the property management teams that are there, and the managers, and learn about what's happening. What's happened since I was there last. Actually tour some units, walk around the property, and see what is happening firsthand. And so I want to do that every chance that I can. And so I can give that feedback to our investors as well, and not just from phone calls or weekly meetings over the phone or Zoom or whatever with management companies, but actually be on the ground looking at these properties, taking photos, and so and video, and so the investors can see that you are active, you're there, you are looking out for them, and you're taking action in being proactive as well. And also just so the management companies on their toes, they know that you could just pop in at any time. And we didn't tell the manager on site that we were coming. We just showed up and said, hey, when you have time, we would love to tour a few units and just talk to you about just the operations some. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. But get there, get photos, get pictures, and make sure, obviously, you're as asset managing, you're making sure things are operating on a weekly basis, or even more so. Just the communication with the manager or your asset manager. But I love just showing up. I love touring the unit, seeing what's happening firsthand, and being on site. But it also says a lot to your investors that you're doing that. So I cannot stress that enough. But being purposeful with your travel, getting there early or staying late, meeting with your investors, meeting with other operators, and then also touring units, touring properties, and then also touring other properties that you're not a part of. And we've learned a lot just by touring other properties and markets. Obviously, talking to brokers, can't stress that enough. And so I want to ask you to share the show. I want to ask you to share the show with a friend, tell a friend about the real estate syndication show, and I would love for you to connect in the Real Estate Syndication Show Facebook group. I'd like for you to, leave questions on there or reach out to me personally. And you can do that, Whitney at lifebridgecapital.com. And we would love to hear feedback. We're always trying to improve the show and making it better. And so you can educate yourself very inexpensively. I mean, you're getting to hear the experts in the business, being interviewed and talk about how they got where they're at and how they've become successful in this space. And I would love to hear your questions, that you have. I'd love to know the questions that you would like me to ask. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to, leave questions in the group as well. A lot of the guests that have been on the show are also members in the group. So you can even tag one of them or mention one of them, and if you have a question for them personally, and so get some interaction going there as well. And then go to lifebridgecapital.com, sign up on the contact us page, and we'll reach out to you personally. We'd love to have a conversation with you so I can learn about your goals and we can connect, and if there's some way I can help you, and a lot of times there's even shows that I can point you to, or people who have been interviewed that I know can help you in your situation. So please reach out, please connect. Thank you for listening. Hope you're sharing the show, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by LifeBridge Capital. LifeBridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. LifeBridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.